welcome to the No Clue Podcast, episode 177. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
Second round of the NBA playoffs. 2 games in. We're 2 games in all around. Today is the break day. We're recording on Thursday, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone out there. Let's get to the 2-0 final, 2-0 series first. In the West, Phoenix and Dallas, both pretty much. Well, they're both blowouts, both easy wins for Phoenix.
Yes,
seemingly everyone is healthy for both teams, I believe, right?
Yeah,
pretty much at least.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where do you want to start with this?
I think this is the most simple series to analyze. I think it's over.
Yeah, it is.
I'll give Dallas. I think they have a chance to take a game. You know, their home crowd. You know, Luka could go even crazier than he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Brunson or Dinwiddie will have a good game.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't stop anyone on Phoenix.
That is the big issue. Yes.
I mean,
by a long shot.
I was and Jason Kidd, by the way, shows a complete lack of awareness to both games. Talk about how somebody other than Luka needs to step up.
Well, whose job is that?
Maybe you got to step up as a roster to not allow a layup drill on the other end.
That would be nice.
I mean, the bigs
would be nice.
The bigs have gotten some of the easiest baskets I've ever seen.
The bigs for as in Ayton and McGee, yeah.
And Biyombo.
Yeah, Biyombo kind of came in eating low key.
I mean, they find real rotation minutes for 3 centers, and they all managed to eat in their short time span.
Yep.
I mean, Bridges is posting guys up.
That has been crazy. He's been doing a pick and roll play where he takes Brunson inside every single time.
Yes. And the reason to me why this series is over is Brunson is too small to guard anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka's too slow to guard any of the guards for Phoenix.
Right.
Which, you know, CP happens to be capitalizing on more than most.
And then the bigs and forwards for Dallas can't guard anybody. Bigs, small, guards, they can't guard anyone on the entire Phoenix team. And those forwards, I mean, Bertans, Kleber, and Powell are it's just nothing they can do out there. It just isn't.
And it's tough because Dallas, even if they get swept, which very well probably could happen, they're going to come away thinking we made a step in the right direction. We won a series, first time in a while. If anything, your win in the previous round is more of an indictment on the other team.
Yeah. Because Brunson was too small to guard any of them too. They just didn't use it.
And I'm watching this series. Brunson's not getting to the inside the paint at any time he wants.
Nope.
I mean, that's just, I talked about it every time we talked about the series, but he's just getting in the paint and then we're trying to play deep. That's too late.
Right.
And meanwhile, Phoenix, everyone's doing the same thing. Bridges is inside. Cam Johnson was a shooter all year, is getting layups and dunks.
I saw Jay Crowder take guys off the dribble.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah. Jay Crowder, who was in a shooting slump essentially all year.
Yep.
Immediately out of his slump, by the way.
Yeah. And hitting and getting inside, which is really hasn't been his game since he left Dallas.
I mean, honestly, watching this second game, and I rewatched the second half today because I really wanted to see if I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half to me was worse. Phoenix's shots got easier and easier.
They did.
I mean, like the entire fourth quarter, or let's say the first 6 minutes when the Suns go on their huge run to blow the game open.
Yeah.
I mean, CP's coming off every screen and getting to the free throw line.
Yep.
He doesn't miss those.
Never.
And they're just,
one of the best in the
keep
league.
letting him. It's easy. And the commentators are losing their mind. Oh my God, CP is so clutch, like so incredible. He's not even sweating.
It's like he's doing a drill, like he's doing a mid-range pull-up drill. Yeah,
man. And he wanted Luka every time.
Oh yeah. And on the other side, like, you know, we mentioned earlier with off mic, what the game plan seemed to be for Phoenix is just make Luka create for anyone else on the team, and he couldn't do that.
Yes,
they were actually. I mean, I know I say this every single time we talk about Luka, but he was going right every time, getting layups, or he'd go left and they'd cut it off and force a pass, and he'd do a step back, or he'd shoot like really off balance layup, and they were cool with that as long as no one else scored.
Yeah,
they stopped all the cuts, they contained all the kickouts.
Yes,
and they made Luka make the decision every time.
Yes, and Luka is turnover prone. Every high usage player is.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing to me is Phoenix is very self-aware coming into the series. Luka can play the island game all day, 45. He'd probably have a 50 piece at home. But we could strap every other player.
Yep.
Brunson has been taken out. Dinwiddie's been taken out. Dinwiddie's barely even getting shots.
Yeah.
So to me, there's nothing Dallas could do.
I will say this. I think Dallas's players have gotten used to standing and watching Luka and waiting for teams to collapse on him. And they've gotten used to standing in one place, waiting for, a 3-point look. But what Phoenix has done is just said, okay, well, just beat us playing king of the court all game. Yep. And we're never going to let you kick it out. We're just going to let you take us one-on-one. And if you beat us one-on-one, you beat us. If you miss one-on-one, we get the ball back. You can't play 48 minutes doing that.
Yeah.
They've completely shut off outlets to Kleber, outlets to Bertans, outlets to Finney-Smith. And those guys almost don't exist in the game when he's doing it.
They're not getting kickouts, they're useless.
And they have completely shut off the kickouts. Like I watched how Luka and Shamet were just going back like one-on-one for 3 straight plays. And Shamet was just checking him one-on-one. No help at all. Just, I'm just going to force you one way. I'm going to make you take a shot I want you to take. Because in the second half, he didn't go right to the basket as much. First half, was getting right-hand layups the whole time. But the second half, he wasn't going to the right as much. They were forcing him to shoot those like fake jab pull-ups, fake jabs, side steps.
The little go right, turn around over the shoulder.
Yeah, they were forcing anything but a right-hand layup.
Yep.
And they were getting the rebounds, and obviously he was going to make some, but he can't make, enough to score 120 points.
Yeah. So I think Dallas needs to stop trying to copy the Houston Harden play style.
They do.
Because if they come back with mostly this roster next year, there's a good chance they won't go to the playoffs.
Right. This roster this year, I think they used it up. Like they showed the best they can do this year, in my opinion. They can't get any better. I can't imagine any of these players. They don't really have any players to develop. I think getting Hardaway back maybe wins you 5 more games, 10 more games than you won last season, but doesn't do any more for you in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think they're probably a big trade away from contending.
And you know what? But, I will give Utah credit because they put Dallas in a very good position now where Finney-Smith is a lot more valuable to me than he was at the start of the year.
You're funny giving Utah credit for that.
Yeah.
They did, though.
Brunson Brunson's about to get a big fucking contract for that series alone.
I would trade Brunson as soon as the season's over.
And there's a lot of teams that could use him.
Trade him while he's hot. Because the thing
what
is,
a lot of these guys are now.
They are, yeah. And Brunson at his peak, he just doesn't. I don't think he helps that team at his peak.
No,
I just don't. I think he's a really good player, but I think if you could flip Brunson, Hardaway gets healthy, trade Hardaway, trade Clever, and Powell, and go for a solid big or a haul from one of these teams trying to get right with their roster. I think you do that ASAP.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah. Yeah. I think they could haul some of the Magic players and have a whole new roster, this team with Luka and like 5 Magic players, and be contending next year. Honestly.
Yeah. They need a second dynamic threat.
They do.
In a center. Yeah. Just like a position filling center.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know. It's hard. The Magic are hard, particularly, but I know Wendell Carter Jr.'s like reaching an apex, so I think he's going to be. I feel like the Magic are just like a G League team now, where they're just going to develop guys, and as soon as they get good, they're just going to trade them for picks.
Yeah, I mean, Bamba is like a center now, right?
Yeah,
he looks all right. The few times I've seen him out there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what they're building for anymore, so I think they may trade Wendell Carter Jr. and then and Gary Harris. I think his contract will be up, so he'll be available as well. So I mean, they got some pieces. I feel like Sacramento is going to work with what they got. I mean, maybe they'll snag Nurkic.
Yeah, we'll get into the some of that more in the off season.
Yeah,
but Dallas will be a team I think we'll talk about a lot coming into next year.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely do. Okay, back to the East. I mean, now to the East. 2-0 series as well, which is Philly, the 76ers, and the Miami Heat. Yeah. No Embiid. Big problems for Philly.
You know what's weird to me?
What?
Philly is trying to play like they're as good as Miami is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
you heard what
really
Doc said in the clip.
Bizarre about this. Yeah, I mean that. I just.
Go ahead.
Doc, he put a target on his own back, okay? I just want to make that clear. Like, he put into perspective his own past failures.
Yeah.
But you come out the series, you go zone, which I can't think of a dumber time to go zone than against the Heat.
Normally people go zone to protect the paint, but you're doing that on the team that had the best 3-point percentage in the league this year. So I don't really understand why you're protecting the paint from the best shooting team in the league.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
You're starting DeAndre Jordan. I mean, honestly.
Who hasn't played bad in his few minutes, but it clearly
game 2 he wasn't awful.
Right. But clearly looks like he lacks energy, and he just can't keep up with Miami. Definitely not.
And Reed has given them better minutes both games.
Yeah.
But then
he still is like afraid to put Millsap in there for more than 3 minutes, more than garbage minutes.
Yeah. And it's just bizarre because you're obviously undersized without Embiid. That's pretty clear. And yet you don't want to commit to playing small.
Right.
Bro, both times they've looked really good was late in the first half playing without a real center.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know Miami will probably figure it out. They'll probably, eventually regain control. But you used your small lineup for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
I just
They
I
got a
don't
lot of open
understand.
shots with it.
Yeah, why are we not playing to our strengths?
I think one problem with Philly is that Doc Rivers with that team has like just a team full of wild cards. I mean, I don't know what I'm getting out of any of those guys on a consistent basis.
That's a good point.
Tobias Harris, his whole career has been
liable to disappear.
Liable to disappear, or he may give you 28 in the next game. Who knows?
I'm like, wow, is he my second option? And then next game, no way. There's no way.
He's right. Niang may hit 6 threes, may go 0 for 6 the next game and foul out in the third quarter like he did last night. Korkmaz may look like the best shooter in the league one night, and then
I like Korkmaz, by the way.
I like him too, but sometimes he just does nothing. I don't understand.
Yeah, he's very out of control sometimes. It's weird.
He'll shoot great one night, and then the next night he just does literally nothing. Maxey, sometimes he attacks like Iverson, and the next time he just throws perimeter passes and takes like spot up threes.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Yes, I can't stand it. I'm like, dude, you're killing guys off the dribble. Why are we not trying that every touch?
And then finally, the MVP, the beard.
Whoa! You're missing one. The brick house himself, Danny Green.
One of the greatest role-playing three-point shooters
that game
ever.
Too. And yeah, Danny Green obviously is a champ. He's been around forever. He's a rotation player anywhere, I think.
Yeah.
But my God, those bricks the other day yesterday was disgusting.
He was trying things. He was trying step backs. One time he pump faked, did a little dribble and step back.
Have you ever seen a good possession with him dribbling more than 3 times?
I've never seen a good possession with him dribbling at all. Exactly. It's bad. And so then we get to Harden, who no one on the planet knows why he's not playing well. We don't know if he's hurt. We don't know do. You know he's hurt?
No, he's lazy.
He's always been lazy. He's been lazy
no.
An average 30.
But he's been willing to put up bricks.
Right.
That's the missing ingredient here.
I would tell Harden, like, honestly, I mean, I know they can't do this, but the front office should tell Harden, look, if you don't take 30 shots this game, I'm docking your pay for the game. Because him going out there with 13 shots does nothing. It doesn't help them. It doesn't hurt them. It does absolutely nothing to determine the game. I'd rather him take 50 shots and miss 30 of them than him go out there and just take 13. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm completely with you. And I've been on this, that the fact that he's washed up, which is pretty obvious now. I think the whole basketball world sees it.
Pretty much.
But my problem here is I didn't expect much because, again, I knew he was washed. I didn't expect him to, like, split who's the good guard between him and Maxey.
Right.
They're like a combo threat now.
I know.
And neither of them are consistent, so it's just a mess.
And then sometimes neither of them attack. So it's like, I've never seen a team with more complete wild cards like that are all playing in their wild card like opposite. Yeah, the worst part of the wild card ever. Yeah. And then we have, you get to their bench. Thibault played 20 minutes and took 0 shots last night. 0. 20 minutes.
Doc doesn't even respect his own bench outside of Niang.
Shake Milton is another guy, inconsistent. Sometimes he comes in with energy, looking to attack, looking like with a chip on his shoulder, and the next night he acts like he deserves to be on the bench. Or sometimes he just gets a DNP. I feel like Doc can sense that, Shake didn't bring it tonight, so I'm just not even going to put him in. It happens.
Know. It does. It's weird because Reed is probably their most consistent role guy as far as just what he brings.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he gets in foul trouble and Doc just yanks him out the game.
Yeah.
Like, bro, Reed is a guy I couldn't care less if he fouls out in the third quarter.
Right.
But for some reason, we got to manage his minutes, even though we're not really even playing him. What?
I know he took him out when he was in foul trouble, but left Niang to foul out in the third quarter. Why?
Like, I don't understand the logic there.
So this is another just odd coaching job by Doc, and another it's just the 76ers just not showing up, to be honest. I mean, aside from Doc, none of the players are showing up. None of the players are being aggressive. They all look like, they're hurt, that Embiid is hurt. So I just can't imagine them winning, especially if Embiid has been listed as out for next game. I just can't imagine them winning again. On the opposite side, Miami looks great. Tyler Hero has been crowned Sixth Man of the Year. We'll get to that a little bit later. Jimmy Butler's playing. He's leading. He's not playing hard. He doesn't have to. He's not playing hard, but he's leading. Bam looks great.
He's not coasting. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, he's one level past coasting.
Yeah,
but 2 levels behind playing hard. Oladipo has come in. Oladipo has come in looking amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
He's shooting fantastic. He's playing good defense. He's getting to the basket at will. I haven't seen many weaknesses for them, honestly.
I mean,
Gabe Vincent looks good.
They're similar to Phoenix, where the roster is very complete. Obviously, you have a great coaching staff that's playing to their players' strengths.
Right.
It's almost always. It seems like Spoelstra almost always makes the right sub.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoenix
Dwayne
is the same way. Yeah.
Dwayne Dedmon has been eating.
Yeah.
Eating.
Yeah. So that's another, like, you're literally saying DeAndre is washed up.
Yeah, if Dedmon comes in there and gives him the business.
Come on, man. And Dedmon's a vet. I'll give him that, but he's not a good vet.
Well, when they said Dedmon's age the other day, I was so shocked.
I mean, yeah, I always he just looked old to me. So
he's only 32. I could have swore he was like
he's
38.
An old 32.
He's been in the league since 2013.
Yeah, he's been around a minute.
Oh, his nickname is the Mechanic. I never knew that. Dwayne the Mechanic Dedmon.
Where are we getting these nicknames? No, Miami looks really good, and I'm not surprised at all.
No, I'm not. I'm not either, man. They the thing about Miami, which is good, is that it's just a really bad matchup for Philly because Miami probably has the most guys that consistently give you everything, give you the same thing every night, other than Jimmy Butler. So you put that up against guys who don't show up, and this is what you get. You get,
to be honest with you, kind of thinking about it, I think the high usage players are getting a wake up call this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of them.
Oh, go ahead.
I just think a lot of them are being forced to play on both ends more than ever.
Yeah.
They're being contained a lot better, especially with guys learning how not to foul.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing is because KD has spent all this time being unguardable, the work ethic isn't there to keep like getting good shots.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, Luka, later in the game, the work ethic isn't there to get good shots.
Right.
And now Harden, same thing.
I think that there was, with Milwaukee winning last year, I think that the entire NBA, I think they've changed how the NBA plays. And I think that now, I think this happens usually when a team wins the championship. I shouldn't say like any team, but a new team wins the championship. The rest of the league automatically starts kind of playing how they play in some sort of way, at least. So I think that we left from the the high usage guards like, Westbrook, like
Harden.
Damian Lillard, those kind of
Trae Young
guys.
is another guy who had a miserable playoffs.
Trae Young as well. And the thing is, what Milwaukee does so well is that they have a forward that's their high usage player, and all the other guys we just named were guards. Their forward is their high usage player that goes in and looks for kickouts. And now every team is trying to have a kickout offense. Every team trying to figure out how they can get someone in the paint and have shooters just surrounding them, right? And LeBron did this in a way in Cleveland in his whole career. He had a situation similar to this, but he wasn't as he just wasn't as high usage as some of these other guys are, right?
Yeah.
Like one-on-one high usage. That wasn't his thing.
I always remember when LeBron wasn't getting buckets, he would play off the backup guard.
Mm-hmm. He would.
I don't see that with these guys that I just named. KD didn't want to play off a soul the entire series. Luka's not really playing off another soul.
Right.
And Harden isn't even really trying.
Right. Right. And I think that the Grizzlies are another team where you see Ja has turned into this. The offense is just Ja, and if Ja doesn't have anything, kick it out. It's Luka. If Luka doesn't have anything, he'll kick it out. It's, all these guys have that similar thing, and we've seen it work, and we've seen how much it fails, and it's failed more than it works because no one has that Milwaukee team. And no one has that Raptors team either.
And again, it's not feeding Giannis all day, every day.
Nope.
If Giannis is getting stopped, he's off ball full time. I'm all over the place. I'm wreaking havoc.
That's what teams are missing.
Yep.
That is what teams are missing.
I mean, I go back to this all the time with so many people I talk to. That clip of Kobe and T-Mac, where Kobe literally breaks down why Harden wouldn't win a championship playing the way he did in Houston.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that some of these other guys aren't seeing that.
Right. Right. The thing is that separates Milwaukee is that they have Drew Holiday, who really isn't the traditional point guard, but he is the next ball handler that is an all-star caliber guy who plays on both ends, who can do everything basically that Giannis can do, just, 6 inches shorter, and doesn't have to do it all the time. He has so much more to his game than just that, where we have a Mike Conley whose game seems like it gets more limited every year. We have a Jalen Brunson who's 6'2", who can't do anything on the defensive end. We have, after Trae, we have no one. After Damian Lillard, we had CJ, who couldn't get anyone else on the team involved at that time. Now he can, but at that time he could not. So we had all these other situations where they were missing that Drew Holiday guy. And then this is where we are. Even Memphis doesn't have really that guy. Ja has to be spectacular to do it, and the other team has to fail spectacularly for him to do it.
Who was smart enough to think about this?
What?
The most antisocial human being on the planet, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, the most antisocial human being on the planet, when he wanted to play in LA, said, yo, I'm not going to be the sole option.
Right.
I don't know why it zoomed in, but I don't understand. Even Kawhi, who's this awkward, was willing to go recruit people.
Yeah. Whether it worked or not, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that people don't recruit other people. I think now there's the tampering rules now, but I think that it's the money, man. It's a lot of greed in the NBA right now.
A lot.
Where I don't see a guy like Trae having the juice to recruit somebody. Donovan obviously has not had the juice so far to recruit somebody. We're talking about guys who, are good players that have systems that look like they could win if they just had one other guy. We just don't have any of that right now. And the guys who do it are the guys who are willing to risk however much the tampering bill is, or who are willing to risk the damage it does to everything else, to their pockets. I mean, there's like no money the NBA could find Durant for it to matter to him. LeBron too. But
I mean, Draymond just exposed it. If you want to finally get into that series.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
Where do you want to start? Grizzlies, Warriors.
Grizzlies, Warriors. Let's start with the foul first.
Which one?
Let's go with the first one, Draymond's.
Okay.
So first game, Draymond hacks Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark falls to the ground. Draymond pulls his jersey, and he gets a flagrant 2 and is ejected.
Out of there.
Big controversy about this. Me and Mike went over the tape. We're not going to get into that right now, but we went over the tape multiple times. The whole world has. I want to say this about the refereeing in game 1. I thought it was atrocious overall. I thought the Memphis calls were so far. The number of calls was way more than Golden State's. Like they got way more calls their way than Golden State. I thought it was obvious.
Yeah.
And for me, and I obviously I had to go on the Twitter sphere to see what everyone else thought, and I saw everybody feeling the same way. I saw it. Sometimes I'm watching them like, oh, I might be tripping, right? Because I like Golden State, so maybe I'm a little biased. So I had to check everyone that felt the same way. So the thing is, when that happens, and I mentioned this to you off air, but that sets a precedent for the next game, right? Because everyone knows that, everyone felt that, everyone saw that call, whether they agreed with it or not. We heard, heard all the media outlets talking about it. So the next game, I kind of knew the calls would have to be, there'd be a lot of reviewable situations in this game, second game.
Dylan Brooks got it started early and quick and handled it quick.
Right. Gary Payton drives to the basket. The second game, Gary Payton Jr. drives to the basket, gets whacked in the back of the head, falls down.
And you could tell by his fall, the way his arm landed, that he is not coming back for this series.
Right. Fractured his elbow. Fractured his elbow. And it's actually basically pretty much the exact same thing that happened earlier with Alex Caruso and Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen got suspended a game for that, got a flagrant 2 for that, got fined for that. So as precedent goes, I'm sure that after they called a flagrant 2 in the game, obviously the suspension is taken care of after the games, but I'm sure they looked back at the footage and said, well, Grayson Allen did a similar thing. Same thing happened, by the way. Caruso also fractured, I believe, his wrist, though.
Yeah, wrist.
Right,
shooting wrist, too. That's tough.
Right. Suspended him for that. So they had to suspend Brooks for that. As soon as I saw he fractured his elbow, I knew for a fact Brooks was going to get suspended because it's such a similar situation.
It was dirty, but it was the problem with it more so was just it was really reckless.
It was reckless and it was unnecessary.
Yeah. Kerr made a good point is that like you put him in a position to get hurt. That's where it's messed up.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I mean, listen, it's 2 points. 2 points. You see all the time when guys get breakaways sometimes. The guy's just like, look, I'm not going to foul him because I'm going to have to foul him if I defend the shot. That was one of those where he would have to foul him if he defended that shot. Gary Payton jumps higher than everyone on either team other than Ja. So what are we going to do? There's nothing he could do to stop that dunk from happening. So there it is.
Let me ask you this. So that play happens and the momentum kind of teeters for this series, this entire game. Why do you think Memphis won this game? Because my reason is, I'm sure, completely different than yours.
For me, it was simply just turnovers, man. That's it. I think Golden State has gotten so loose with the ball. Losing Draymond for that small stretch they lost him. Again, I'm not sure if it was a blessing or a curse for them, but they lost him for, I want to say, 2 quarters in this game, a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
To a elbow to the face, bleeding. He gave the crowd a middle finger because they were booing him while he was bleeding. I get that. I'm not mad at that at all. But anyway, the looseness with the ball in this game was it was disgusting for me to watch, to be honest.
This is bad in a playoff game.
In a playoff game, the turnovers were so bad, and even down the stretch, they were bad. Oh. I mean, that one pass, was it Steph throwing it to Poole at the top of the key, and like he threw it right into, I forgot whose hands he.
That's what's crazy to me. What's crazy is game 1, the Warriors kind of they proved my point, where down the stretch they're getting better possessions, better shots.
Yeah.
Game 2 was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching, I'm like, man, I know we're turnover prone, but this is like the roster caught it.
Draymond had 4 turnovers. Steph had 5 turnovers. Poole had 3. Wiggins had 3.
That's all your top 4 guys. Clay bricked all the potential turnovers he could have had.
Right.
Yeah. All your other players that are heavily involved were turnover prone.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The high usage guys were turning the ball over. So to me, the thing is, and I know that the turnovers didn't all result in fast breaks, but if there's one team you cannot turn the ball over, it's Memphis. Because if you do turn it to a fast break, there's nothing you can do to stop Ja. Nothing. That's
what I'm saying. It's not even Memphis. It was the same with LeBron. It wasn't the Cavs. It was LeBron. In Miami, It was LeBron and Wade. It's the same thing. You cannot let Morant get out in transition.
You can't.
Or he's going to do what he did.
And the other thing is the amount of threes. I know who the Warriors are. They're the best 3-point shooting team ever. They have the Splash Brothers, the Splash Triplets, the Pool Party, whatever. But Wiggins 1 for 7, Clay 2 for 12. Do you know what threes normally produce? Long rebounds. You know who is the fastest guy in the gym? The most unstoppable fast break player.
The other team's point guard.
The other team's point guard, right? So the long rebounds going to Ja also, it's easy layups. And he had 8 rebounds. Surprise, surprise. So, and again, I know not all their points were fast breaks, but the thing is, the ball gets in his hands in a transition, even if it's not a fast break, it's transition where if you guys aren't back set up, if someone is still backpedaling, if they're trying to pick up their man and it's a bad switch, it's a layup.
Yep.
It's a layup. Jordan Poole on Ja is a layup. We saw it. Jordan Poole spun around, did a pin drop dance move on the basketball court. So, I mean, it's
they're putting a lot of guys on Morant who cannot check him. Like Wiggins is another guy they try to put on him. I'm like, dude, he is not mobile enough at all to check the top 3 athlete in the league.
Right. And I think overall, defensively, I didn't think Golden State's game plan was all that bad. No. Just the turnovers were just atrocious. But now, why do you think Golden State lost? Is it different than that?
Slightly.
Okay.
It connects back to the sloppy play.
Okay.
But we talked about the play happening. And I thought the biggest thing that happened to the Grizzlies was Dillon Brooks getting ejected. It eliminated the dumbest player in game 1 by far.
Yeah, his shot selection in game 1 was really bad.
Really bad. He had 2 or 3 awful turnovers. It was so bad, just for the people who, aren't aware of that detail. He had 4 air balls.
Yeah.
One of them was contested. So, just to put it in perspective, he didn't take an insane amount of shots, but all of them were bad quality.
Right. And you might be right.
And in game 2, he's ejected. All of a sudden, they're going long stretches where I see good possessions. They're getting it to guys that should be. They're not. Their possessions don't die by somebody taking an awful shot.
Yep.
Though, because they lost the one guy who was doing that.
Yeah, and MVP of this game, well, co-MVP of this game was DeAnthony Melton for me. He came in and had like 3 hellacious blocks that were like top 10. They were all top 10 level blocks and all in big moments too.
Melton was phenomenal in game 1 too, by the way.
He was, yeah. And then the other MVP, and it's not Ja, but Zaire Williams came in like a beast. He was hitting threes. He was, getting out on the break. He was getting blocks, deflections. It was just, if Brooks didn't get ejected, there wouldn't have been time for those guys because their minutes get put down when Brooks is there. So
I'm telling you, man.
Adding to your
and
point.
If they win this next game without Brooks,
Brooks is the odd man out.
And then Brooks comes back, they blow the series. I'll remember this conversation. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if they win in Golden State. To be honest,
I'm exaggerating the notion that Brooks single-handedly decided the game by getting ejected.
Brooks and the substituting definitely play a big part in how they play. So even if you're exaggerating, you're still probably at least
some of it
right.
is definitely a valid point. And another point to me again, like Morant and Brooks are like almost toxic together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, without Brooks, I saw Morant the entire fourth quarter was composed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen
focused.
A full fourth quarter from him like that.
And focused.
Exactly.
Opposite of, issues I had with him after game 1 and after the end of the last series. This game, he looked completely focused. He wasn't playing around.
Yep.
He wasn't over celebrating. He was just on a mission to win this game, and he did. And that's the guy. He was a killer in this game for sure. And they still could have lost. 2 less turnovers, they would have lost this game.
Oh yeah.
So
if Morant, they needed every point Morant had.
Yeah, they did. Yep. So great series. I think Golden State has to play better. I think they will play better at home, but a lot of the stuff they're doing is just them playing mindless. It's not like Memphis strapping them. They're just not making good decisions. Clay is off. Wiggins is taking way too many threes. He had the best dunk of the series. Well, second best dunk of the series, and then shot threes the rest of the game, which I just don't understand. The dunk he had was great. It looks great. No one can stop him going to the basket. Nobody. No. The fadeaways, he had a nice floater early in that game as well. And then he shot threes the whole second half.
Some of that I think is him. He kind of does settle a lot.
It is him. But that's my problem. It's him. It's only him. It's not Memphis making him do that. It was him. So that's something that needs to change for them. And we're kind of more Golden State heavy because we both believe Golden State is the better team here, right?
Yes.
So not saying we're rooting for Golden State, but we're saying why Golden State isn't winning instead of how Memphis won, like what Golden State has to do better next time to win. Not that Memphis is just going to go in there and beat them, because neither one of us believe that it's going to be that easy.
Hey, if Morant's going to play like that, I don't know if Golden State's going to win another game.
Right.
If he's going to do that, heroics like that, Golden State's in trouble for sure.
And Bane has to be more aggressive. I heard from a lot of people saying that he's playing hurt, whatever. But if they want to win in Golden State, they're going to need more from Bane.
Yeah,
every night.
I think he'll be fine.
I think so too. Okay. Anything else on that one?
Steve Kerr, final point. like Jordan Poole is not a secret anymore. Let's stop. Right? Let's just, when he's going, let's just play through him. Okay. We don't need to reel it in. If Steph is allowed to get 5 turnovers, Jordan Poole could get his touches going.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Cause I don't like Jordan hit 3 nice. He had 3 nice moves. All right, hold on. Just to save some for next game. Like,
what are we doing?
We need all of it today. Yeah, I'm with you. Because he had like an and 1 or 2 and 1s and a 3, and then Kerr took him out. And I was just like, what's going on? What happened? I thought he got hurt on one of the and 1s.
At this point, like, guys are having to get hurt for him to stay in the game. Come on.
Or ejected. Yeah, one or the other. Or both. So, yeah, that is crazy. It is going to be tough without Gary Payton II, by the way, I think.
Yeah.
I think he was a really good rotation piece. They started him the first game for defensive reasons. I don't like them starting Poole, but I guess they may go back to starting Looney since Steven Adams is likely to be back as well.
Right.
So that's probably what's going to happen. But just losing that rotation piece is tough because Damian Lee went out there and it just looked like he hasn't played in a lot of games.
No, nothing.
It just, so.
It is tough
and
for
Otto
them.
Porter, they just cannot get anything consistent from Otto Porter.
No,
I just don't understand. I don't understand why he can't hit any jump shots. He never goes back up on his rebounds. He gets a lot of rebounds, but he never takes them back up. I don't know why he's out there.
What's funny to me, I hate that Iguodala's hurt for them too.
Yeah.
Because if Iguodala was there, they're like they could really clean up the rotation, even with some of the other guys out.
Well, he did play the first game, right?
Nah, he hasn't played since the end of the Denver series.
Oh, okay.
Something with his neck, I think.
Yeah,
I think they already said, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they already said that he's missing the rest of this series.
Yeah. It would be nice to have him. They don't need him, but he definitely helps.
He helps a lot. And I mean, to be fair though, I barely saw him on the court during the year.
Right.
It seemed like every big Golden State game, he's out in part of the injury report.
Yeah, he kind of seemed like he was I thought he was player coaching, like Haslam this season.
No. He had to be hurt. There's no way. He's not that washed up.
No. I was just saying by how much he was hurt. I'm like, Iguodala is just not playing this year. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like he didn't deserve to play. I just meant like, oh wow, that's weird. He's not playing. That I just assumed that because he's always dressed sitting next to Kerr every night. I'm like, oh, what happened? So also similar to what you said about Poole, Kuminga also is like if you're gonna get him, thrust him into the lineup, the time is now. Like when you need.
I wouldn't be surprised if he started.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I would be because I don't know why Kerr doesn't use him more, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's who they went with because he helps them. I think he's by far the most athletic player on the team. He gets rebounds. He plays pretty good defense. He hustles. But Kerr, he's another guy. Kerr limits his minutes. Every time he starts playing well too, Kerr gets him out of there. Yeah,
I can't tell you why.
But we'll see. We'll see in Golden State. It's always a good story in the Chase Arena. I miss the Oracle though. I really do. I miss saying the Oracle. It was just a cool place. All right. Last series. Would you say this is the best series? Matchup wise?
I think Golden State and Memphis is a little bit better.
Okay. Well, this one is also tied up 1-1. Yeah. Milwaukee and Boston, Bucks and the Celtics.
Yeah.
First game. Celtics looked really bad to me in the first game. Another game where I thought their turnovers were atrocious. Smart was kind of in and out of the game dealing with injuries, but I didn't think anyone played particularly well for Boston. I just think as a team overall, they played bad. Jaylen Brown has 7 turnovers. Tatum had 3. Basically, everyone had 4 fouls. Like the whole starting 5 had 4 fouls.
Yeah.
No one shot particularly great. They hit a couple threes, but it wasn't anything. Didn't feel like it was affecting the game. But on the flip side, Milwaukee.
Physical. Very physical.
Very physical. And they play like Milwaukee. I mean, Bobby Portis came in and was championship Bobby. Greek Freak looked really good. Triple-double, easy triple-double, 24, 12, 13, something light. He missed a lot of shots, but stat-wise, it was easy. But he also had 5 turnovers. But that, like we said, that's what happens with high-usage guys.
It was interesting to me. I mentioned I believe it was Memphis after the first round, that I'm concerned that they didn't get tested.
Mm-hmm.
Boston looked like they were dealing with some of that in game 1.
Mm.
They just spent 4 games getting really easy layups.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the layups that used to be easy, now Brook Lopez is there.
Yeah, and also easy kickouts. And Milwaukee played a similar defense to Phoenix, and not letting the guys get deep into the paint and get easy kickouts. They weren't letting them do that the first game.
Yeah.
So that resulted in a lot
I
of
loved
turnovers.
how Milwaukee came in there, though.
I did too. Everyone was aggressive. I think they knew that without Middleton, we needed guys to be even more aggressive, and we needed guys to get more shots off. They got a lot of 3-pointers off. They took 34 threes. Is that right? 34. Yeah, 34 threes.
Didn't Boston take like 50?
Yeah, they took a lot.
Man, Boston,
but they lost.
Chucking them.
Yeah, taking a lot of threes and losing is different than taking a good amount of threes and winning. But Bobby Portis took 7, Wes Matthews took 6, Drew Holiday took 5, Grayson Allen took 6. But the guys who shoot, Lopez only took 2, Greek Freak only took 2. Post to Boston, Tatum took 9, Horford took 9, Brown took 9, Smart took 6. So that sounds like desperation to me in a losing game, But
again, to me, a lot of that had to do with them missing layups early on and them not really committing to that later as the game progressed. While Giannis was rim, like inside the free throw line.
Yeah, and the other thing is, every time Jaylen and Jason drove, they were getting a lot of help on it, right on the ball. They were stripping a lot of balls.
Yeah.
Double teaming on the drives. And not really double teaming, but like a quick trap kind of thing they did. Every time they got around the elbow, whoever was guarding the wing would come in like a hard trap fast to see if they would cough it up. And,
I mean,
collapsing.
Again, you're coming like Jaylen Brown is coming off a series where he had a lot of possessions with Patty Mills guarding him.
Yep.
And those are some of the easiest buckets I've ever seen him get.
Yep.
It's a different animal with Drew Holiday on you.
And Tatum with Seth Curry on him. So
Right. And even Wesley Matthews to me is not a great defender, but he's miles above Seth and Patty Mills.
He's very physical, and he's always playing defense.
Yes.
Like he never takes a break on defense, never. And Grayson Allen, another one. I mean, he likes to get into you, touch you a lot of physical defense, active hands. Javon Carter is another guy, active hands. He'll chase you all over the court. You never don't notice him guarding you. And then we already know how Holiday gives it up. Strong. Holiday strips a lot of strips. Saw that too. So they looked great first game. Now, second game turns out to be a complete blowout.
It was surprising because Smart was ruled out.
Smart was ruled out due to his injuries from the first game.
I was really nervous when I saw that.
Boston wasn't.
Nah, not at all.
Because they annihilated Milwaukee in this game. It just wasn't even close. They were getting shot after shot, threes. Grant Williams hit 6 threes. Brown hit 6 threes. Tatum made 5. They were just swinging the ball, open shots. They were playing like the Warriors. They were playing like peak Warriors in this game.
Boston is just they're so complete.
They are.
Like, they have what Phoenix has, what Milwaukee has. They're a very cohesive unit.
Right. Without a point guard, surprisingly.
Yeah, man. And
both teams have point guards.
To me, they got a lot of credit for their defense on KD. Mm-hmm. But again, as the series went on, KD's not working hard, so it's easier and easier.
Yeah.
They strapped Giannis game 2.
Yep.
No, none of the Euro shit that like half the league can't stop.
Yep.
None of the like left to right spins that for some reason he doesn't go to as much as he used to.
Yeah.
And again, now that the relentless drives aren't getting him anything, he's trying to show off the fucking mid-range game that he still doesn't really have. He's showing the pull-ups that he's still not comfortable taking.
Yep.
And he's better at it. He took a couple that were pretty nice. He made them. But again, Boston did such a phenomenal job staying in front of him, and not because of help.
Right.
It was Grant Williams like cutting him off.
And it was honest defense. It wasn't like no calls. Like, it wasn't even that physical of defense. They were just there.
Yep.
Everywhere he went, they were there with hands up, hands straight up, and he made him take tough shots. Like I've seen games where Draymond straps him, but Draymond easily could have fouled out if it was a different ref.
Right.
I didn't see any of that with Boston.
Right.
Boston was just straight up, like straight clean strapping.
Yeah, man. I thought similar. One thing that was impressive about the KD series is how many guys did a good job on him. Mm-hmm. This was the same thing. It wasn't just Grant Williams. It was Brown got nice stops. Al Horford did a phenomenal job. Derek White had a number of nice plays on him.
Yep, Robert Williams.
Yeah, man. They did such a good job. And this to me put in perspective how beatable Milwaukee could be.
I agree. And then what happened for me that was, I won't say it was surprising, but it was very telling how bad Drew Holiday looked and how hard he struggled to get shots off in this game. He ended up having to force like every shot he had seemed like to me a force, especially the threes. Because like Giannis wasn't getting anywhere, and guys weren't really helping, to the point where like they were leaving Drew. Drew like got stuck in the corner a few times and had to like try to make a one-on-one move and just jack a 3 up in somebody's face. He was or mid-range shots, which really aren't his game. He's not a big mid-range player.
Let me ask you something. What is his offensive game?
Either threes or layups. That's it.
But he doesn't specialize in either one.
No, he's an opportunist. I told you and I know this has a negative connotation to it, but Drew is a accelerated role player for me. This is just how I feel about him. He's not like he's I
thought you were going to throw like some wild comparison out. Okay.
No. He's an accelerated role player. He's a 3-and-D guy that is just really athletic. He's a really athletic 3-and-D that obviously he's a guard, so he handles the ball. But that's it for me. But usually he can use his strength against guys bigger than him. Like a Derek White is someone that he likes to use his muscles over and get tough layups. And if you leave him, he likes to just prove that he can hit open threes. But if you're guarding him, he normally doesn't take tough threes, and he normally doesn't take tough layups. He doesn't like taking anything tough.
But my thing with him is, to me, he does take tough shots. He does take like Like I'm the primary option shots.
Yeah.
And the problem for me is he has a green light to take any kind of shot.
But I don't think he does that when he's when he's like when he doesn't have the mismatch. If he has the mismatch, I don't really count those because like if Pritchard was guarding him for a long time, I don't care what kind of shot he takes. Like nothing should be a tough shot for him. Even if it looks tough, he gets those off. But the way they were guarding him in this game, where it was like there was no mismatches, they didn't really even the switches on the screens, they were crowding him, not letting him get to the basket. He was taking bad shots.
Bad, you're like the focal point of that poor play.
Yeah.
Where when Boston's taking bad shots, Marcus Smart's bad shots are really noticeable.
Yeah.
With Drew, it was kind of the same thing in this game specifically. A lot of guys like took rush shots, but Drew, I felt like worked hard to take bad shots.
Exactly.
And that to me, I was like, I feel like we could incorporate the front court more. Maybe we could kind of get different guys to try to drive besides just Giannis.
See, but Smart and him are both kind of opportunists when it comes to shots.
Yes.
It's if no one's open, I may have a shot because I probably have a mismatch, or if Giannis drives, kicks it out, they're not guarding me, I'm taking this. That's what Smart does the same thing. A little pump fake, one dribble and step back. Holiday has the same move, but they were on it. And he was having to shoot over bigger guys.
Boston's defense was some of the best I've seen all year.
Yeah, it was.
And this was like, this is defense now. We're contending. Like we could strap anybody. We could go toe to toe with anybody. We could adjust with anybody. Like Boston is in the top tier now of the contenders.
And also their boxing out in this game was fantastic. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
I mean, I didn't notice Brook Lopez was at the game in this game, to be honest. And they, they still got their numbers rebound wise, the Bucks did, but the big rebounds, Celtics were not letting them get second chances. They were not letting them get long rebounds. They just played. They played fantastic. There's nothing.
It was
not enough positives.
A very complete game.
Yep.
And it's not like I'm concerned that Morant can't really play as well as he just did.
Mm-hmm.
Boston could easily do this multiple times against this team.
Right. And the thing is, they didn't have to shoot as well as they did. They shot great, but they didn't have to. They were getting to the basket well. They could have taken some mid-range shots where they took threes. I really only went Grant Williams taking threes, but Jaylen Brown had open threes where he could have went by guys, but because he was feeling it, he just took it. Tatum too.
Yeah. I was surprised Tice didn't play.
That surprised me as well.
It looked good, but I like Tice as a guy who in certain series doesn't play.
You like him like that, but you thought he could have played in this one?
You know what it is? Because Giannis was getting a lot of calls in the first game. Udoka probably looked at the film like, yo, of all the guys on the team, we know Tice is not getting the fucking call. Like, Tice, you got to take the sacrifice to the team here. Like, we got to stop hacking. Even when we stop hacking, you still get called for shit.
We haven't talked about this before, but I've never seen anyone get called for stuff more than Tice. Ever.
Oh, my God.
In all my years of watching basketball.
Tice is not allowed to play defense of any kind.
Bro, I've seen them call calls on Tice when he was laying down on the floor. He's on the other end of the court.
It seems so personal, too.
Yeah.
They're like so confident every time.
Yeah. They always look like, you know what you did, Tice.
Right.
It's like, what are you talking
And he's
about?
like an complete utter shock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I agree. They easily could do this again. They don't even need to shoot as good, and they could do this for 3 more games, especially without Middleton.
Yeah. I'm curious how Giannis attacks next game. Because I could see him, like, again, he's been known to really commit to playing off ball. That could cause the Celtics a lot of problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're built to contain people with matchups.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to make predictions on any of these or not really?
I mean, I said Phoenix is getting the 4 to 5. Besides that, I don't know if without Embiid, I mean, yeah, they're probably getting swept too.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Embiid comes back that last game in Philly and plays fantastic and they win that one and then go to Miami and lose it. I could see him coming back to a win.
I mean, they just experienced that you could get you're probably not going to win it, but you could get back in a 3-0 in the series.
Yeah, and the thing is, Philly, the first game, we didn't talk about this, but Philly was in the game until the fourth quarter. Like the 3 quarters in, it was just an 8-point game.
Yep.
So Philly can beat Miami without Embiid, but they just can't put it together for the whole night. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but
very, very sporadic. And most of that is Doc, honestly. I don't really see. Again, I knew everything I'm seeing from Harden does not surprise me.
Who's doing the best coaching job in the playoffs?
I mean, it's got to be Monty Williams.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I know, like, a lot of people will look at it and think CP's running the show, but Monty Williams has made. I'd pay every single one of those guys if it's a contract year.
Yeah, it would be such a travesty if they didn't bring this exact same roster back.
Oh yeah,
win or lose.
Think CP could retire after the year and they'll win 55 games next year.
I agree with that. Yeah,
whether they're a real contender, we won't know, but winning games for them is not going to be for this group is not going to be a problem. Yeah,
I think they could pick up a token point guard and do really good. They still get a 6th, 5th seed probably.
I just like
with any point guard.
I'm curious if anybody's going to make Devin Booker uncomfortable.
See, and that is, and we talked about this a little bit. We talked about some of the best scorers in the league. I don't think any scorer in the entire NBA has an easier job than Devin Booker because he has no other responsibilities.
Nah.
Bridges, Crowder, Cam Johnson, check all the guys that Booker doesn't have to. And normally
he's in the KD position, the Golden State KD.
Yeah.
The situation is every aspect of the situation is set up for you to succeed.
Yeah, there's just all you have to do is put the ball in the basket. You get open shots. Some of the plays they run for him, the plays they run for him where he can come around and get a wide open little leg kick 3 is just I don't see anyone else getting those plays. I never see Donovan get a play ran for him ever. Not like that.
I know. And he had Finney Smith stressing.
Yeah.
And Finney Smith is a really good defender, and it was like with simple stuff. It wasn't just like Luka shit. It was literally just running sets.
Yeah. I think Jimmy Butler gets open like that sometimes, but he just doesn't need to get open as hard as Booker does. Because Jimmy doesn't take like catch and shoot shots. Yeah. But I've never seen, I have seen it before, like Reggie Miller or something like that, where guys could move out the ball and get that open, but not from a scorer who's like widely considered a top 10 scorer in the league. In a long time. So Phoenix has, Monty Williams has them running these sets that are just beautiful. And the thing is, the floor is so open for CP to just get a bucket. And they have the most threats probably.
Dude, when was the last time we talk about a lot of the roster issues with teams and how like a guy here and there is out there for no reason?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I saw a single player on Phoenix look useless on the court.
Nope.
And Jay Crowder shot the ball like trash all year.
but we know what he does defensively. We know what he does
100%.
as a ball mover and as just a threat. Because him shooting bad all season, I'm still running out there. I don't care if
100%.
I watched the last 6 games and he missed every 3. If he catches it, if he's my man, and he catches it in the corner, I'm sprinting. So
and Crowder's one of the few guys who has a different level of energy when he's frustrated or not playing well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he really wants to make shots. He really tries to make plays on the other end.
Yeah.
You know, Tucker does the same thing. I just PJ Tucker. I wish more people had that like intensity.
Yeah, if I don't have it offensively, I'm gonna give you guys something.
Right.
Smart does too. I think Smart does.
There's a number of guys who do it around the league.
Yeah, but not many. Like you said, not many.
Bobby Portis is another guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bobby turns up no matter what.
Oh yeah.
I think Memphis, the guys, the role players from Memphis could benefit being like that. I think if Brooks took that attitude, if Bane took that attitude, I think they would be a much better team. I shouldn't say much better team, but the role players would have a much bigger impact than Ja just being out there all by himself.
Yeah,
I see like guys like Jaren Jackson. If he's not shooting well, he might as well just go sit down because he doesn't even block shots anymore. Like he does nothing.
And he doesn't even like try to fool anyone. Like, okay, you get the ball anywhere near the basket, you're going left. We know.
Yeah.
And he just barrels there anyway.
Yeah. And if he's playing bad, he don't even go for blocks. He's like the best shot blocker in the league, probably right this second. But if he's playing bad, I'm going up easy. He's not even going to do it. He just watches guys lay it up. It's weird.
They're young. They need a little bit of time to mature.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of time.
They need to hustle up, or else they'll be home in Cancun maturing, I guess.
It's true.
All right. So, real quick, we mentioned this earlier in the season. I think last season too, but we didn't come up with a full team. But Tyler Hero was 6th man of the year this year. Congratulations to him.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Yeah, well deserved. Arguably their best scorer most of the time, most consistent scorer. But it's kind of tough that they only pick one 6th man. And 6th man is one that you can kind of have on lock for a long time. We've seen with Lou Williams, Crawford, Ginobili was a 6th man of the year candidate like his entire career. I feel like he was a finalist every year for 16 years.
Yeah.
So it's something that nowadays they don't even move guys up to starting. Like it's not like you're a 6th man, you play well enough to start anymore. It's like you're good enough to start, but we're gonna bring you in for energy off the bench.
Right.
So we put together this list. Put it together a while ago, but since now the award has been given out, this is our all bench team. So first team, obviously Tyler Hero, Cam Johnson. I don't have a graphic of this, by the way. Cam Johnson, Emmanuel Quickly, Kevin Love, Brandon Clark. That's our first team, all bench. You want to say anything about them? Anybody particular?
Just thinking off the top of my head, again, the situation is designed for them to play to their strengths.
Yeah.
Every 6th man, the roster is constructed in a way for them to thrive. Mm-hmm. Whereas I see a lot of the poorly constructed teams bring guys in and just expect them to produce that. A lot of teams don't put the guys in actual situations, and all 5 of these guys are in very good situations.
Yeah. We see Quickly, who's probably obviously on the worst team, the only non-playoff team in this. Cavs didn't make the playoffs; they lost in the play-in, but the only non-playoff team in this first team. But he comes in with so much energy and attacks and ends up being such a staple for the team, for the Knicks. And they have so much confidence in him. That's another thing. For bench guys, it takes so much confidence from your coach and from your teammates for you to be able to come in and fit into four other starters and run the show like these guys do, or end up taking as many shots or scoring as much or having as big of an impact as some of these guys do.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And that is why there's only one sixth man of the year. But yeah, I think these guys did a great job. Brandon Clark is killing it right now. Kevin Love was an all-star future Hall of Famer that moved down, took a sacrifice and moved down because of the young guns on his team. Probably could be starting in some other places.
And Kevin Love was in a dark place coming into the year.
Dark place all last year, too.
Oh, I mean, his reputation took a hit. He didn't like Cleveland. Team USA just threw his ass out.
Walked off the court a couple of times last season.
Yeah. He was struggling. He was struggling. But I think Cleveland moving in a good direction, like, it is a simple solution to disgruntled stars.
I agree.
Showing the star player or a valuable player that you're trying to make something happen, I think goes a long way.
Yep. So our second team, Patty Mills, Malik Beasley, Kenyon Martin Jr., Montrezl Harrell, and Chris Boucher. These guys aren't really as obviously they're not as productive as our first team, because that's why people on the first team are on the first team. But these are guys we see come in and give such an impact to their team, to winning for their team. Listen, Patty Mills had a rough year this year. Beginning of the season, he played elite. Fantastic.
He had a great year. Let's be honest. It was not a rough year.
Well, I'll say why it was a rough year. It started out fantastic, and it ended up great. But when Kyrie came back, his minutes dropped. Him and Kyrie just don't have any chemistry on the court together. Kyrie came in, and Patty's numbers went down. His minutes went down. Him and Kyrie just had no chemistry at all. This is after Kyrie came back from his what was it? What would I call it? Not suspension, but his missing games.
Return to
everyone
work?
knows.
I don't know.
Yeah, everyone knows what I'm talking about. But when he came back, Patty just kind of lost what he built.
No consistency, because his minutes didn't reflect any consistency.
His minutes and his shots. He didn't get as many looks. He shot, I think, like 8 less shots per game when Kyrie came back. So, but he deserves to be on those lists, because when he was coming off the bench early, he was winning games for them. Early in the season, they probably wouldn't have even made the playoffs if it wasn't for what Patty did early in the season. Malik Beasley, another guy, helped carry his team, a team that, underperformed, I guess, in the playoffs, but he made their team look like they had depth. Provided that guard help. He had some huge shooting games this season, alongside Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, people who don't watch Minnesota don't notice how aggressive he is.
Yeah, that's true.
He's very eager to be the high leading scorer, the taking the majority of the shots. And it, like you said, it makes their bench unit kind of work better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because he is immediately aggressive. You're right.
Yeah.
Montrezl, I mean, we talk about him every season. He's a huge energy guy. Chris Boucher, I think, doesn't get enough credit for his development. I think he came into the league as just some wiry, just project. And now he's become like a dominant shot blocker, a great open three. He shoots open threes and knocks them down. Good length, good defender, good effort guy. He's come in and been able to give them everything for a team that really has no center at all. He kind of plays, he's evolved to play 3 positions, where he came in, I just thought he was going to be a tall, slow center, and he looks great now to me.
Yeah, he's one of those weird, he's not really good at any offensive thing, but he just knows how to score.
He does.
And you can't like leave him. You have to stay with him and know where he is all the time.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, Kenyon Martin Jr. on the worst team out of I shouldn't say the worst team, but worst record team in the league. But he's had highlights after highlight after highlight this season. He's undersized, but out rebounds, like good rebounders any given night. He gets blocked shots. He plays this great defense on so many levels. He's evolved to be a good shooter. And we already know what happens when he gets to the basket. It's easy dunk. It's a highlight every time.
Very easy.
So that's our all bench team, first and second team. Yeah, man. I think that the league should have an all bench team. I think the NBA should give it out to some guys because I think some of these guys will probably never get recognized for anything like their entire career. I'm not saying they should get like a what is it? A consolation trophy or anything for not being all-stars. I'm not saying
it's
that.
It's more just the label of it, you know?
Yeah. You're like one of the best players that comes off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're of the bench guys in the league, you're a premier guy.
Yeah. Even if it's just a plaque, it doesn't have to be a trophy or anything.
Right.
Like the player of the month things, they get those. It's just like a little plaque thing. I mean, I don't know why they haven't figured out a way to do that.
If you think about it from like an outside perspective, if I spent a little bit of time in the league, like you look up Brian Scalabrine, and you're not gonna know anything about him. Yeah. But if you look up like a guy's resume and he has that he was a bench team guy, like it's a lot more impactful to me.
It is, yeah. And you're right, because a lot of these guys won't have any other legacy at all.
None.
Like I talk about Michael Pietrus a lot and how a lot of these 3-and-D guys are based off like what Michael Pietrus did so well for Orlando.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Phoenix had guys doing it with Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Shawn Marion was doing it. Just nobody liked it because his jumper was hideous.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're just completely forgotten. So it sucks. Sasha Vujacic had like amazing years for the Lakers that no one will ever remember.
Yeah, you're reaching now. Vujacic, I'm cool.
No, but he was like a good, consistent knockdown 3-point shooter that
he could shoot.
You would never know that after the other than the 2 Lakers championships he had. After that, he was trash. But he did have good years. So
I mean, you think about it, a guy like Mike Miller, who was I believe he was rookie of the year.
Think so, yeah.
If he hadn't won rookie of the year, like he'd be criminally underrated in history.
Yeah, he would. He wouldn't exist in history.
He was a top tier role player in his time.
He was.
And a lot of people miss out on that.
Rodney Stuckey's out there. We talked about Aaron Brooks the other day. Aaron Brooks would have made it.
I don't want everybody to fucking get recognized.
Aaron Brooks would have made it. He was like, he had Patty Mills' role, same role.
Nah, no. He the role was the same. The impact was not.
Because Houston there was just a bunch of losers. So is it? Well, so is Brooklyn. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good parallel.
So, moving on. It's about that time. The rumor mill has been
getting going.
It started. Some guys went out. Some guys hate their teammates. Where do you want to start here?
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of talk about Gobert, so we can start there.
Okay. So there's reports out. Not sure if they haven't been confirmed by Gobert or Donovan. Both of them have tweeted that it's rumors and that it's not real, but I think that they have to do that, like contractually. So Gobert apparently says it's either him or me, meaning it's Donovan Mitchell getting traded or he will demand a trade. So I guess this is a power move by Gobert.
Who the fuck does he think he is, dude?
The 3-time, is he 2-time or 3-time defensive
3
player of
time.
the year? 3-time defensive player of the year. That's who he thinks he is.
That's great.
At 29.
Bro. That's great. And Dwight Howard almost threw away his legacy getting greedy in Orlando.
Yeah.
So a lot of people look at Dwight Howard very differently now because of how his Orlando tenure ended and how quickly he declined after that.
Right.
But Dwight Howard was a dominant player on both ends.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, Rudy, you suck. Like this notion, it blows my mind that apparently the rumors are that somebody informed Gobert that they'd be willing to pay a lot to get him.
Yeah.
Like apparently he has a contact in the league that
it was Charlotte.
It doesn't matter who it is to me. That in itself is bizarre.
I agree.
Because he only gets paid like a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
He's like one of the top 5 worst contracts in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing in a guy, again, it's very important to look at what you're bringing in to suck up all your cap space. Guy who can't make free throws, doesn't catch the ball well, isn't much of a lob threat.
Correct.
Is not physical. Even when he gets 10 rebounds, I don't notice his rebounding.
Never.
For some reason, all those blocks that people love that he gets, we don't get him in the postseason.
Right.
He can't guard anybody.
Not a soul.
And you can't feed him inside.
Right.
I just like, where is the self-awareness? Him or me? Yep. Him or me? Dude, if I was Donovan, I would have lost my mind seeing that.
He might have.
Honestly, I would have stayed silent. I know you're talking about contractually. I would have been like, yo, I'm not saying shit. Y'all lucky I'm not saying shit.
You know, Gobert has only led the league in blocks one time. And it's not even the year he won Defensive Player of the Year. Since then, in the years he won Defensive Player of the Year, Anthony Davis, Miles Turner, and Hassan Whiteside, and Miles Turner again, were they were leading the league in blocks.
I mean,
Miles Turner, Hassan Whiteside, and Anthony Davis.
Everybody whose basketball opinion I respect, and that's not a lot of people. Mm-hmm. They all he's a system defender.
Yeah,
he's Utah funnels everybody to him.
Yep.
Dude, you're literally being put in positions to help. No shit, you're gonna block a lot of shots.
We saw it with Capella. Capella he blocked a lot of shots that year, but he wasn't an elite defender. He wasn't even considered for Defensive Player of the Year, but he blocked a lot of shots because Harden wasn't guarding anyone, and anyone he wasn't guarding, PJ Tucker was guarding and funneling to Capella.
Yeah, and I just it's bizarre to me. There's so few teams that Gobert improves the way they need.
And this comes to the next question. Who should go, Donovan or Rudy? And I asked you this question, and I didn't get your answer before because I wanted to save it for the podcast. Do the Jazz actually get better by trading Rudy Gobert? You say yes.
100%.
Tell me how. And I say no, by the way. No way.
They're very basic. No, I think Utah's problem comes back to being basic. Opposing coaches figure them out. Opposing players figure them out. By the end of the series, they've looked inferior for 4 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of this year, Dallas is better. By the end of last year, the Clippers are better. By the end of the year before that, the Nuggets are better.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of blown leads in that stretch, by the way.
Yeah.
But again, you're trading Gobert, you're getting a haul for him.
Right.
Because for some reason the league sees him as valuable. I don't know why. But you're getting a haul for him. And this is where the haul you have to get a dynamic player. You have to. Every contender has a Swiss Army knife.
Right.
Every contender has at least one guy who could go off in every facet of the game. Utah does not have that.
Right.
And we're getting every playoff run.
Other than their star, you're saying, right?
And that's the problem. Because we don't have that, we need Donovan to do it.
Right.
Oh, and now Donovan's getting criticized because he's not an elite distributor. His shooting percentage wasn't great. His defense wasn't great. He didn't really have an impact on like winning. Like, damn, Donovan has to do it all?
Literally has to do it
all. But Luka's only getting buckets, and my God, can he get some help?
Right.
Luka's not doing anything but getting buckets because, I'm sorry, 7 assists, 7 turnovers. They're not distributing the ball.
Right.
And he needs help. Like, the perspective is all out of whack to me.
And just because Luka has 7 assists doesn't mean that he's like distributing that well. The guys are hitting shots.
Right.
Donovan passes to guys and they brick all day.
Exactly.
It's not like he's not making passes. And I've been saying on here for years, Donovan is a really underrated playmaker, in my opinion. Because I've seen games where Conley got hurt or in foul trouble, and Donovan had to come and get 12 assists, 10 assists.
100%. Well, I've seen it a lot.
A lot. So we know he can do that, and we know he's not a superstar thing. Bro, we saw him in the Nuggets. It was 1-on-3 every game against the Nuggets. That's that series. It was Donovan versus Murray, Jokic, and whoever else was playing good that day. And Donovan had to get 40, 50 every single night, and no one else helped.
Yeah.
Ingles played like okay that series, but no one else was doing anything.
So, and the problem is, beyond Donovan, I know exactly what I'm getting from every other player in that rotation.
And it's not enough.
It's not enough. I need a surprise. I need to be able to say, yo, this guy came in and got a bunch of stops that people didn't think he would.
No one's doing that.
Or a guy who's maybe a questionable shooter who can make a lot of shots tonight. They don't have that.
No, I don't.
I know Bogdanovich is getting me 25 or 0. I mean, I know what everybody's giving me.
Mm-hmm. And that comes to my issue. I don't think that they can get anything for Gobert that would help that. That's my problem. I think it's not that I think that they need Gobert. I think trading Gobert is a good idea if they want to get better. But the thing is, I don't think they get better unless they get like Anthony Davis, which they're not going to get. So anyone else, I don't think that you get anything for Gobert that improves the team. Because everyone else has seen Gobert. Everyone else saw Gobert give the whole NBA COVID, by the way. We forgot to mention that. He shut down the league.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Let's not forget that situation.
I mean, my guy's focused on bees instead of the playoffs. But, you know, there's a market for him out there.
He was patient zero of the NBA.
Bro, market for what? Miles Turner comes at half the fucking rate and can do everything he does and much better.
And can hit threes.
And he has some versatility. Granted, I don't trust any of it, similar to Whiteside, for example.
Yeah.
But Gobert is gonna get exposed.
I've seen Whiteside this year outplay Gobert on numerous occasions with limited minutes.
Again, the impact of having a versatile player on the court makes you at least have dynamic options.
Yeah.
And the Jazz of all the playoff teams every year have the least amount of options.
Yeah. Yep. They only play 6 guys a night, which is just bizarre. They're like the only team in the playoffs that does that too.
Oh, dude. Again, I prefaced when we talked about the Gobert thing, I prefaced that whole point. I don't give a shit what they do. If Quinn Snyder's still coaching them, it's going to be a disappointing exit again.
I think in this situation, I think Donovan should demand the trade. I think the fact that Gobert had the audacity to do that, I think Donovan should demand the trade and just move on.
This
just go
guy,
somewhere.
bro. This guy. I was shocked. There's been a lot of random shit this year that's shocked me. But of all people, Gobert. I mean, there's a lot of guys I expected to trash. Like, we'll get to a guy who wants out. That surprised me. Kyrie surprised me. All these Ben Simmons surprised me.
Yeah.
Russ, the whole Lakers situation surprised me.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert saying him or me? I mean, just as out of touch as it gets.
He is the one that's going to get traded if that situation is legit, but I think Donovan should
Where
go.
would you like to see him? I would like to see him anywhere. I'm serious.
Gobert?
Yeah.
That's my point. That's the problem. I would like to see him just stay with the Jazz and Donovan leave. Because the thing is, again, if he leaves, what's the best case scenario they get for him? Nurkic? Like best case scenario.
No. Whoa. Hey, if we're looking at it like that, Donovan, get out now.
But that's what I'm saying. What is the best case scenario they get? Think hard. They could get Turner.
Let's say they trade Gobert to Indiana for Turner, Brogdon. I guess that's it.
No. Bird, who's the Indiana GM?
I'm sure Larry is involved. Larry will answer it.
They are clicking on that. No way.
No, I'm with you. This is the Russ situation. This is like the behavior, the lack of growth and development, the lack of, again, self-awareness. There's no market for him to me.
I know.
Why would Charlotte get him? Why would Charlotte get him so LaMelo passes to a guy who can't finish?
And who does Charlotte have to give up?
Good pieces. I'd like Charlotte's package for Utah.
No, but I mean, if they give up what they would have to give up for Gobert, they wouldn't be as good. That's the problem. I mean, they'd have to give up. I'll tell you
what, I can't convince you that Oubre they can get better.
Terry,
but they don't get worse. That's the key here.
Who doesn't get worse?
Utah.
Oh, the Jazz? Yeah.
Utah, as you said, Whiteside has outplayed him on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Bro,
they definitely don't get worse. They don't get worse. You're right. But I think that if I'm a Jazz owner, I would say, okay, for Donovan, we could get 3 starters at least for Donovan. From like a bad team, easily 3 starters for Donovan. And then Donovan goes to whatever the team it is, and we have a whole new squad. I'm getting a new coach. In either scenario, let's pretend like they get a new coach. I would rather have the 3 starters I get for Donovan than 1 starter and some bench players for Gobert.
I mean, I can't argue that. Yeah, that's obviously a better, like, safer move for the future.
But to your point, if they trade Gobert and they throw someone else in, like if it's Gobert and Conley for Turner, Brogdon, and O'Shea.
Let's get a reliable perimeter shooter who could give me 5 to 8 threes if you leave him open. Justin Holiday.
Buddy. They have Buddy out there.
Buddy.
It's a wrap it's a wrap in the West if they do that.
Buddy is exactly who I'm looking for. A guy with versatility, a guy who could be dynamic.
Bro, if Indiana would be dumb to trade Brogdon, Buddy, and Miles Turner, but if they did, the Jazz go right to the finals, in my opinion. With that team,
100%. Yeah.
if they trade Conley and Gobert, and they go with, I guess they go with Brogdon at the 1, or no, who else did they get? They got Halliburton. That's right. Yeah, they're keeping Halliburton. But if they go with Brogdon at the 1,
this situation is so bizarre. Again, the other problem is he's getting paid so much. Lakers should just go wild. Russ for fucking Gobert straight up.
That would be nuts.
I'd love it, dude. I'd watch every game. I don't care if they lost every single one.
They would lose every single one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Gobert and Donovan would
lost.
Be interesting.
They lost the majority of the games with Russ, so you're stuck anyway.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, to the next scenario. Zach Levine is apparently done.
Out.
Yeah, has apparently said that he doesn't like playing with DeRozan. He doesn't like his shots. He wants to move on. And he's just sick of Chicago. He's been there for, as you said earlier, a lot longer than it seems. And a lot longer than we, tend to remember, because he got traded for Jimmy Butler here. And Jimmy Butler's on his 3rd team since that trade.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, 2017. So this is 5th year. His contract is up, I think, after this season. So, what do you think?
It's surprising that he doesn't like playing with DeRozan, considering this is the most complete I've ever seen him play.
I think this is definitely the best he's played. I think this is the closest he's been to being on a winning team. I think DeRozan takes a lot of shots, but I didn't think that he didn't take enough shots. I didn't think Levine didn't take enough shots. I think he took perfect amount of shots. I think he grew as a player, as a playmaker. I think they were just one player away. Honestly, if they had a Gobert, they would be better. Low key.
No.
I think they would.
Nah, he'd fix their problems, but he'd add new ones on top of that.
I think there would be new ones that they could fix, or at least they could manage. The Jazz can't even manage the problems. Anyway,
I'll give you that. That's a good point. But
his apparently his top 2 choices, or some of the options, Atlanta, LA, of course. I want to say, I think I saw one other team. I don't remember what it was, so maybe Portland. He is from Seattle, so maybe want to go back west, northwest. So, what do you think? You're shocked by this one? You said.
I'm very surprised.
I would be utterly flabbergasted if you went to the Lakers.
That to me. Okay, you don't like your situation. What? You want to go to that?
You'd rather go to a team that didn't even make a play-in game?
Dude, and you know the blame if they suck again, I'm assuming they're going to lose somebody, but the blame is all coming to you.
And what shots are you going to get there?
Playing
they can't
with
even
LeBron,
get the guys that are there.
You're turning into more of a specialist than you already are.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think he leaves. I think we saw this in 2018 when he signed to Sacramento and knew that the Bulls were going to match his offer. Remember that?
Yeah.
So this may be some mind games he's playing, some pressure games, if it's true. The source that I saw this was not like a ESPN or Bleacher Report source that I saw this one. It may be legit, but if it is, I don't think he leaves the Bulls.
Yeah, man, I want to see them run it back one more time.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
Even if they don't fix, I want to see if all their flaws are the same when they're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
because I do think some of like having Lonzo would have cleaned up some of the shots. Patrick Williams playing all year, he would have probably had more confidence come into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I do think they had a lot of fixable issues that had to do with health.
Yeah, some of the pickups they got, Tristan Thompson, I think he came in kind of late. I don't think they ever really figured out how to use him. Like the offense wasn't built to have someone like him in it, so he was kind of trying to fit into Vucevic's role, and that never worked.
Yeah.
So some stuff like that. I agree. I think that they should run it back as well. I don't really have anything. I don't think Levine goes and hurts any team. I think he immediately makes pretty much any team he goes to better.
I do think if the Lakers are serious about moving AD, now I'm very interested to see Levine go there.
To go there for AD?
Maybe.
That would be lit.
That would be crazy.
The Bulls would be raw.
And
he's
from Chicago. Yeah. Hey.
Both teams would be raw. I mean, the Bulls would be more raw, but hey, that's a good
Hey, Levine for AD. We take the hit on the Russ contract for 70 years. We just did that with Luol Deng. We could do it again.
You think they would? They just cut Russ or trade him?
Who the fuck is taking him?
Bulls would take him.
Stop.
You don't think he'd help the Bulls?
How? In what way?
If they trade Levine, they need a guard.
Not a guard like that.
I think that would be interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Anthony Davis would want to play with Russ again, though. I think if they did trade Anthony Davis, I think he'd be like, "Nah, I'm not going anywhere with Russ. No way." But Russ played for Billy Donovan.
I'm curious how people will talk about Russ after.
His best years were with Billy Donovan. So
it was also a long time ago.
That was like 3 years ago.
It's a long time ago for in high usage years.
Yeah, well, I mean, just think
IQ
about it.
Years.
Anthony Davis is from Chicago. Russ played for Billy Donovan. He liked that offense. Hey, could happen.
But DeRozan runs it way better.
He does. He runs it way better.
I can't picture the Russ to DeRozan or the DeRozan to Russ assist. I can't picture it.
There's no DeRozan to Russ assist.
Then how are we playing together?
That doesn't exist. I can see the Russ to DeRozan assist, but not the other way around.
Dude, there's no shot. If Russ is a starter next year, I will question everything I know about this game. No shot.
The game of basketball?
The game of fucking basketball. Russ spent 82 games being the embodiment of awful basketball. No shot somebody lets him run a team next year. There's no shot.
Bro, he's starting next year.
Well, we'll come back. We'll come back to this. After the playoffs, we'll debate this a lot, I'm sure.
And I was talking about O'Shea Brissett, by the way, who I thought would really help. I think he would help the Jazz if he did get traded. He fits into what Quinn Snyder does. If Quinn Snyder's there.
Who's the guy from Xavier I liked? Edmund Sumner, I think.
Yeah, Edmund Sumner.
95% of the league's fan base wouldn't even recognize that name.
Alizé, don't they have Alizé Johnson now?
Yeah. Indiana. I don't think there's a team I've seen less all year than Indiana, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I even saw Sacramento play more than them.
No, way more.
Yeah. Is there any other rumors that you heard? I feel like there is one. I feel like we just talked about one, but I forgot it.
I don't know. I mean, is anybody's contract year coming up? Not that I could think of.
No.
How do you think? What do you think Harden's market will be?
Oh, that's what it was.
And this will be our final topic.
Yeah. I think Harden, when you say what will his market be, you mean like as in what?
Like, will similar to Gobert and Russ? Will another team say, James, we think you still got it.
Definitely.
We'll pay you full price to come run the show.
I think I could see and this is similar to Russ. This is going to be on James, whether he plays next season or not, because I could see him staying with the 76ers, obviously. But I also could see him going to a OKC, a young team developing, kind of playing like a CP3 role there. He's not going to be as good as CP3 was there, but I could see him playing that kind of role for a young team. Just like a fill-in, this is your year to see what you got left. We have nothing. So just come help us out for a season, and you get off and let some of our players learn from you. Let some of our players get off. I could see that happening. Because that's basically what CP did in OKC. That was a waste of a year, basically. But he went and he proved that he was a championship.
Wasn't he traded?
Player. Yeah, for Russ. Right?
Yeah. To me, if Harden is traded to a team, I'd like to see how he deal with that. But for him to decide to go to a up and coming, like getting out of the development process team is like almost a definitive, like, yo, I don't care about championships.
I thought we already established that. No,
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have established that, but it just would be so blatant at that point.
The thing is, similar to Russ, I don't see a lot of teams considering him a starter, not any championship level teams.
But you said somebody'd be willing to pay him full dollar.
James Harden?
Yeah.
Not a championship level team.
Oh, well, unless yeah, the fucking the Memphis is not bringing him in. We know that.
No. That's why I said I think he would do that maybe for a year. He'd go do that if it was a 1-year deal. Because the thing is, everyone else on the planet has lost confidence in Harden. And the thing is, I think it's different from Russ because, like,
it's much different from Russ.
Because Russ still has his athleticism. That hasn't went anywhere. His decision-making sucks and his shooting sucks. But he's still one of the most athletic players on the court all the time. Harden looks like he should just be 6-man again if he plays like he's been playing.
Yeah, if you're slower than everybody else on the court, we might have to move to the bench for that one.
Right. So I easily could see Harden getting a 1-year deal because I don't think that the money is going to look how he wants it to look. So I think if it's like that, you have to think to yourself, well, how do I go earn my money back? And that's by showing what I can do on the court. So I think that's the situation where he would say, all right, I'm going to go to this team, this bum team, and just get off because his usage will be as high as he wants it to be. The team will probably be formed however he wants it to be formed, but no championship team is going to do that again. They're just not.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny because I can see him being the kind of guy to like Big Ben did it, like after not giving a shit about your nutrition or your body, all of a sudden, like, man, everybody's doubting me. They think I'm washed up. I'm about to lock it in this summer. I'm about to shed the LBs. I'm going to kill next year. Problem is that takes hard work.
Yeah.
CP3, I never, not once in his life did I question CP's work ethic.
Right.
And it wasn't fucking easy. I remember watching that OKC team. It was stiff.
Yeah.
that three point guard lineup has not been successfully replicated before or since.
Which one? Which one are you talking
Him,
about?
CP, SGA, and Schroeder.
Yeah.
Playing all at the same time, and the lineup, I didn't even remember who else they put with them three. But the lineup actually playing well on both ends.
Mm-hmm. Was Gallinari there then with them?
Yeah, I think he might have been part of that little death lineup.
Dort was the other one.
Yeah.
That was his breakout year.
But again, like that takes so much work on both ends. CP had to deal with like SGA occasionally closing games. Schroeder had to be involved like a lot of times to different levels of success.
Yeah.
Harden is not managing that shit. And obviously the situation will be different. It'll be more like shooting around him. But then it's Luka. It's the same thing we're looking at with Dallas. And like you said, why? What's the point? Even if I'm a young team, I'm limiting my young players' development doing
that. Hey, I'm just saying, I think I could see that happening. The other situation I could see happening, and again, this all is dependent on Harden's ego, right? All of this, everything we're saying, Harden's ego has to allow all of this. But I easily could see him going to like the Bucks and coming off the bench for the Bucks, something like that. I could see that happening, like a like a Jason Terry kind of role. Not Jason Terry though.
I mean, Harden. All of a sudden, Harden is going to come in and be completely selfless. Like, what do you bring him in as a 6-man for?
Bro, you asked me to give you scenarios how it would happen, right? I don't think fair. Harden is not going to be on the team, but I do think that I could see him being I think Harden is crazy enough to go to the Warriors. Honestly, I don't think they'd get him, but I could see him taking the call or calling his agent, calling the Warriors, say, look, Harden's agreed to come off the bench, 7th man. All he needs to do is pass and take open threes. And I could see a team doing that. I think not the Warriors, but I could see the Bucks doing that easily.
I think Harden does have enough of self-awareness, to your point. I think it's going to take some time. He may need to. I don't want to compare it to Melo because he's not going to be out of the league. But he's going to need like a rude awakening moment.
Yeah.
Where either the market takes forever for him to get paid a lot. The max that he's looking for literally is not offered. Or it's like, to Detroit.
Yeah.
Which sounds good, but it's like random. And again, it limits all their development.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Melo did that to me in Portland. I think he made Portland more of a contender, but it wasn't like to the point where like they were a favorite. Adding him didn't make them a favorite. And I do think Harden could go to a team like that. He could go maybe to a Timberwolves kind of team and be someone that helps them off the bench. He takes shots. He makes good passes. He doesn't turn the ball over as much as he makes better passes than D'Angelo Russell. He may turn the ball over just as much, but he's a better playmaker, better finder, but he doesn't really help them much. And then that year will determine which way everyone goes with him. That's why I say I could see him going to one of those young teams that isn't that good and showing out just to show that he still got it. I could see him doing that easily. I think he, like you said, I do think he's self-aware enough to say, I just need one full year of being me to get back to so everyone could see that I'm still a $20 million a year guy.
Yeah. I still think he can score at a really high level.
I do too. He just doesn't take
be the step back three.
Right.
Yeah. And when the star player goes out, 13 is not enough. Right. We got to double that at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see him playing with some young, young athletic bigs I said the Thunder because I'm thinking like Isaiah Roby. I think him and Giddey would be pretty cool together. Something like that where it's young guys that he can feed and can make big plays, and it's Harden, Harden through the nice between the legs pass, and some
Yeah.
young guy, nameless guy finishes it. I could just see that happening.
I do like seeing him, and we talked about it not really working well, but I like that he's willing to try to play like with Maxey.
I do too.
It's not just like, yo, forget your game, just be my floor spacer. We're gonna figure this shit out together.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be a big key for him in your scenario. Playing with young up and coming players.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. But by the way, SGA is another guy I see in a lot of trade talks. I think he could help a lot of teams as well. I think he'd be very interesting, and basically every team we've named. Yeah, he does. Needs one full season of health.
And
he's gained weight
hot
too.
Back-to-back years. Come out cooking back-to-back years, and then snap injury, and the years thrown away for them.
Being on a better team, he less miles on him though.
I mean, bro, he was looking good on the Clippers before, like, he even really developed.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm very interested.
That's right. That rookie season, right? He was on the Clippers the rookie season before he had traded for PG.
Was it after the second year or after the rookie year?
Maybe it was the second year.
Because I remember there being some development to his game on the Clippers.
Maybe it was the second year then. Maybe it was. Just doesn't seem like he's been in the league that long. To be 2 years there, 3 years, at least 3 years on the Thunder. Maybe. Doesn't seem like PG's been away from the Thunder for that long either. 3 years. But yeah, because he missed basically a full season.
Was the first year the bubble? Was that the first? No.
PG was on the Clippers in the bubble, I think.
Yeah. He was hitting the side of the backboard, of course.
Because Kawhi won in Toronto the year before the bubble.
That's right. So bubble was their first duo run.
Yeah.
And last. So far.
Yeah. I think that's another one I do think. I hope they break up. Or if they don't get someone great, I hope they break up. Do you think Levine could go there?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely wouldn't take any shots.
Nah, but if you want to contend, the Clippers are a very reasonable, fair. Like, you'd have to earn it, but you look good doing it, I think.
Yeah.
I want to see Kawhi back on the fucking court, to be honest with you.
Maybe not.
Speaking of guys who miss work.
He never gets enough credit for how he finesses teams. Everyone is talking about Ben Simmons all day, every day, but Kawhi's done the same thing. Kawhi's missed like 5 seasons of basketball.
Yeah, bro. Kawhi has never lived up to any injury timeline ever.
No, not once.
That shit is weird.
Bruised leg. I'll just miss 85 games. Smart is trying to come back right now with, with the same injury, missing 2 games, and Kawhi's missed a full season. So
it's weird because, like, it's kind of weird because he's so frail that even when he played and wasn't missed, like the Toronto run, he was hurt the whole run.
He was hurt for almost the whole season, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs, he is healthy. He feels great.
Well, you remember he missed like 20 games load managing.
In the playoffs or the season?
No. During the season, remember, similar to the
more
Grizzlies,
than 20.
They were winning a lot of games without him.
He missed every single back-to-back.
Yeah. Toronto was like, do what you want. We got you.
Yeah, he only played like once a week.
They said, fuck that. I want to go to LA.
Yeah, he's so wrong for that. So wrong. I want to look up exactly Toronto. He played 60 games. So yeah, he did miss 25 games. 22 games, yeah. Yeah.
And then he had a knee injury the whole playoff run. They kept talking about like he's questionable. They'd see him on the sideline like fucking icing the shit out of his legs.
Yep.
And then, he'd limp after fucking posterizing somebody.
Yep.
And then he cooked in the finals.
Yep. Kyrie's never played. I mean, not Kyrie. Kawhi's never played 80 games his whole career.
That's sick.
Stephen A talked about about Kyrie missing those many games. Let me just read you Kawhi's games. And they play 82 games for those who are confused. He played 64 first season, 58, 66, 64, 72, 74. That was his highest season ever. Then 9, then 60, then 57, then 52, and then all of this season he missed. Then 0 this season. So
yeah, man, they be hating on AD, but Kawhi is right there.
He is. He definitely is. All right. Well, that is the podcast. We've been extra long today. We covered a lot of things. Thank you for listening as always. Please subscribe. Follow us, No Clue Podcast on Instagram. Stay tuned for more coverage, playoff coverage. Huge fight this weekend. Boxing fans. I know I don't have a lot of boxing fans on here, but Canelo fights this weekend. Last weekend was a great fight weekend too, but I just forgot to mention it on the pod. So stay tuned. That's Canelo and Bivol. I will cover that next podcast. I think that's it. Good playoff so far. Great second round so far.
Yeah, man, I'm salty. I've been missing, and I've just from the stories and stats and stuff, the Champions League has been really exciting.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of
Real Madrid's played well.
It.
Some of the Premier League teams have been battling, so sucks that I'm missing it.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. WNBA starts this week as well. Preseason was last week, but regular season games start this week. So sports it's going. Sports is doing its thing. Baseball has been great this season too. Baseball has been great.
I'm happy they survived.
Yeah. Big things. All right. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.